morning and welcome to our community meditation, and welcome to everybody who's joining us at any time online. I'm Kelly Capsar and I'll be your practitioner for the day. Please take a moment and silence your cell phones so that we can come together in this moment without interruption. This meditation is a blend of spoken word, silence, and some beautiful music. It will last approximately 15 minutes. So, let's all take a breath together, all the way in and all the way out. And notice your breath moving in and out of your body. That breath is divinity in action. Has been since the beginning of time. Continues through the infiniteness of time. And notice your breath moving into and out of your belly and your low back. And notice your breath moving into and out of your hips. And in particular, that triangle bone at the base of your spine. Your sacrum shares the root word of sacred. And notice your breath moving into and out of your knees and your elbows. And notice your breath moving into and out of your head and your hands and your feet. And see if you can expand your awareness just a touch. And notice the breath of anything or anyone else around you. The earth, other people, the plants and the animals. The breath of the wind and the water. There we go. And today's theme is grace unfolding. Grace is one of those things that we can prepare for and open the space, but we never quite know when it's going to show up. And so I invite you to bring to mind a moment of grace in your life. In that moment of grace, what do you notice? Maybe in order to get to that moment of grace, you actually had to be completely present. And as you remember that moment of grace, those moments of grace, invite them to become more present in every cell of your body. What do you smell? What do you hear? What do you see? And what do you know? And taking a breath. Come back to this moment right here and right now. Don't come quite completely up yet. Just come back. And notice, what do you feel here? What do you smell here? What do you hear here? What do you see here? And what do you know here? And do you notice the moment of grace that you had brought to your mind, to your being previously? Feels very similar to this moment being completely present. And so in the next moment, I invite you to tell yourself, your being, your body, thank you for accepting these changes gracefully, easily. Thank you for sharing this moment. And as you're ready, I invite you to come back to this time and this space, easily, gently, and gracefully. Thank you all for joining us. Feel free to roam around for the next 15 minutes or so until services start, and this concludes today's meditation.
it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real with Reverend Laura. Keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real with Reverend Laura.
This is Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. At CSL Greater Las Vegas, it is our mission to inspire spiritual discovery through community connection, exploration, and celebration. This mission supports the all-inclusive vision of Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, in which we envision a world that works for everyone and all of creation.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. I'm Reverend Laura, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here. If I can get those of you in the back to come on up, that would be wonderful. If you would, let's say hi to the people that are joining us online today. If you'd turn around and wave at the camera. We're all so thrilled to have you here with us, too, enjoying our beautiful Sunday morning here in beautiful Las Vegas. What a wonderful day it is to be together again in spiritual community. So we're going to start off with some music this morning. And I don't remember the name of the song. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Of course, yes. Karen Drucker is wonderful.
Yes.
All right.
Thanksgiving, guys.
So if you want to, you're welcome to stand, or...
Yes, if you'd like to stand, please join us in standing.
Whatever you'd like to do.
So
if you
grateful.
Want to sit, that's good too. Join us in singing. I'm so grateful.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. Sing it. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Last time. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful,
peace. If you're comfortable, greet your neighbor. Have that conscious connection.
Get those last couple hugs in, right? I know. I know how that is. And so we're going to go ahead and shift our focus here to our little more contemplative time with our affirmation and invocation from our practitioner today, Kelly Kapsar.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
So first I'm going to speak the affirmation, and then you guys get to say it along with me. Okay? So this one's easy. You might have heard it once or twice because it's an oldie but a goodie and always pertinent. God's grace is my sufficiency in all things. So, God's grace is my sufficiency in all things.
I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still. Let God love me. I need to relax. Let God take over. I need to relax. Let God take over. And take this load off of my shoulders. I need to relax, let God take over.
And so continuing in the grace and the gratitude and the stillness, I simply know there's only one power, one life, one love, one grace. And I know that that is the truth of every cell of my very being, every cell of my body, every aspect of my life. And so if it is true for me, it must be true for each and every one of us, of you. And so breathing into that oneness that already is, that grace that already is. I know right here that this moment unfolds in the perfection of divine, in the perfection of life. And like the sea rolling its waves up to the shore, and the seed becoming the beautiful oak, I know that everything is unfolding in divine perfection, right here, right now, for each and every one of us, and all of us together. And so breathing into this, I simply am so grateful. And I let that gratitude inform everything that comes forth from this moment. I let that grace inform everything that comes forth from this moment. And taking the breath together, we simply allow it to be, knowing it already is. And together we say, and so it is.
I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me.
I do love that song. Thank you, Justin. All right, so we are entering into a new month as we start off this first week of September. And because we have a new month, we have a new theme. So our theme for, did I say December? September. Go figure, you know.
It's only 2 months off.
Not 2 months off, you know. December, September, October, one of these months. Anyway, thank you very much. We are in November. And so our theme for this month is grace, as we are finishing off, coming to the conclusion of our year-long theme of building a community. Grace is the quality that we're going to bring into the month of November and explore that this month. So my talk title today is Grace Unfolding. And one of the things that I do often is I look up what the definition is of the words, what it means. And when I looked up grace in the Webster's dictionary, it's not exactly what I want to talk about. So I was like, that's not the definition at all. So I went to Ernest Holmes, our founder, and his definition of grace is the givingness of life. He says, grace is the givingness of life. This givingness of life is given to us unconditionally. There is absolutely nothing we can do to make us deserve more of it or to deserve less of it. It is an unconditional flow of the goodness of life, the goodness of God, the goodness of spirit, that universal creative love intelligence moving itself into us just the way that it does to everyone. Doesn't matter what we've done or what we should do, we didn't do, what we thought we were supposed to be doing. None of that makes any difference. Grace is given to us unconditionally. And it is that experience of this is one of the phrases he uses, is an unmerited divine assistance. Unmerited divine assistance. In other words, again, we don't have to do anything to earn grace. It is the natural givingness of God coming to us whenever we need it, if we allow ourselves to be that open receptacle for it. If we do the work in consciousness that we prepare ourselves for that place of it, we might experience it a little more easily than we would have if we're resisting it. Because sometimes we resist those things that we really need. Anybody experience that? Yeah, something we really need to be doing, but we are resisting it. Grace is really these benevolent forces, that benevolent goodness of the universe that is operating without any assistance from us, and it operates almost at a level that is beyond our logical understanding of it. Grace is sometimes hard to define, but when you've experienced it, you know it. And once you know it, you really can't unknow that. Once you had that experience of grace, once you felt it operating in your life, it's really hard not to believe that it's there and believe that it's possible for us in any situation that we have. Grace is found in every step that we take through our lives. And oftentimes it's a gradual unfoldment. Like we're moving along and all of a sudden things are just a little easier for us. Or things seem to line up better for us. And so sometimes it feels like it's this very gradual process of this benevolence of spirit coming into our lives. But sometimes it hits us in all of a sudden in a rush. And most often that's during those challenging times in our lives. Often, again, we resist those challenging times. We don't really want to have to experience something that makes us grow. And so we resist that. And yet if we relax into it and allow it to happen, we find out that grace not only is unfolding, but it unfolds in a way that is beyond what we could even predict. In quantum physics, they have this idea that events happen oftentimes in a discontinuous cycle, in a discontinuous way. In other words, we can't see where the beginning was to where we are now. It just seems to go from this point to this point, and we can't figure out what's in between. Scientists call that a quantum leap. And grace happens often in our challenging times as a quantum leap. All of a sudden, you're in a struggle, you're going through some kind of a challenge in your life, and boom, there's the answer. And you really can't figure out what it was in between that got you to that place, but you know it's there. And you know that it's right and it feels good. And so when we have those experiences, that discontinuous event in there, that quantum leap, that can be really powerful, and that can be something that's transformative in our lives. I know I've told this story before, but when I was experiencing my brother going through his transition, I experienced one of those quantum leaps. I had this feeling of what life and death was while my brother was in the middle of it. And before he made the transition, I had an experience that leaped me forward in my understanding of life and death. And it healed a lot of the issues that had been operating in my life around this idea of the pain and the suffering and the trauma and everything that has to go in with somebody dying. That it couldn't be, there couldn't be anything but pain in that process. And yet when I had this experience, it was like, whew, I'm light years ahead of where I was, because I prepared myself and allowed myself to have that grace flow through me. And it came in a surge for me. So these quantum leaps of experiencing grace can be really super powerful in our lives. And oftentimes, those are most easily distinguished in those times of adversity or challenge, because we're in such a struggle. We're in such a place in our lives that the dichotomy between that and this experience of grace is so profound that we understand that moment, that's what grace really is. And like I said, once I had that experience, I knew I could never go back. I was forever changed by the experience of it. And again, like I said, it often happens most dramatically in our challenges, but it happens throughout our lives all the time. If you're going about your day, doing your daily tasks and things like that, and there's an ease about them, and things just seem to fall into place as we relax into it and trust that the universe is going to provide whatever it is we need to know. I remember as I was going through ministerial school, the question was always, well, what are you going to do when you graduate? And my response always was, I don't know. It's on a need-to-know basis, and I don't need to know yet. I just need to take the next step. And so taking that next step each time relaxing into that experience and allowing whatever needs to happen in that moment to happen is that experience of grace, is that experience of that grace unfoldment. It's that unmerited benevolence of spirit that's just doing what it does. You know, I think coming into Science of Mind, one of the greatest gifts that I received in here was to get away from an idea of a judgmental or a punishing God. Something that some way that there was this thing out there that I had to prove myself to it, to make it operate in my life. And to release that idea was one of the most freeing things that I ever experienced in my life, to not have to worry about, I'm just going forward, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm guided and directed from that internal source, and I just do what's in front of me. Do I always do the right thing? No. Do I learn from those things? Sometimes. Sometimes not as much, and I repeat them again. But to know that, you know, I remember Reverend Doug saying this a long time ago, that, you know, you're walking down a road and you see a right turn and a left turn, and you hear this little voice saying, go right, go right, go right. And you go left. And Spirit says, okay. And we go left. And then you come to another fork in the road, and it's go right, go right, go right. And nah, I'm going to go left. And Spirit says, okay. And it just does that because it's going to follow along with us where we need to go. And at some point, we have that internal nudge that is powerful enough that we go right. And then we watch things unfold in a way that was much easier than all those left turns that we were taking as we were going through. And I really think that's how it works. You know, each moment, each step that we have in life, we have that free will, that choice to go right or left, to go straight, to turn around, whatever that direction is. We have a choice to do that. Spirit is going to accompany us along the way, and it's going to be there all the time. It's not judging us, it's just accompanying us. And at some point, when we relax into it and trust that intuition that's telling us to go one way or the other, then those are the moments we experience the grace of God. Those are the moments we experience it flowing through us in a way that we probably could not have imagined when we're letting our intellectual mind dictate the way that we're going. But to relax into it and allow it to move through us, that's really the way we begin to feel grace. Now, there are things that we can do to enhance that experience of grace. One is to become silent. Is to just become silent and listen. To not let our chattering minds dictate every single step we take, but to go within and feel what's in our body, as Kelly so beautifully talked about in her meditation. What is my body telling me in this moment to do? You know, oftentimes we say that's that gut feeling. You know, right or left, which way do I go? Let me listen to my gut and see which way it takes me to go. You know, which way am I being divinely directed to take the next step in my life? When I was doing my research, or at the beginning of each month, what I do is I go through my Kindle library of all my books, and I find the ones that my go-to books, my go-to authors. And I look up what they have to say about grace. And so what was funny to me was this month, almost everything I found about grace was in one of the books from Joel Goldsmith, in any of the books from Joel Goldsmith. He talks about grace all the time. And so I just want to share this is from his pivotal work, The Infinite Way, which is what he calls his philosophy. He says, spiritual living is a life lived by grace, not by might or power. It's a life in which we find all things appearing to us in the order in which we need them, sometimes before we ourselves are aware of that need. Anybody ever experienced that? This is living by grace, and it is attained only when things, thoughts, and desires have been overcome. Spiritual life is that state of being in which we live by grace and know that whatever the need is, the answer will appear. Everything that comes as a gift from God. As a matter of fact, it comes just a little before we need it, even before we know we are going to need it. A path opens before us of indescribable beauty, joy, and peace. Living by grace, allowing grace to unfold through us, is the spiritual path. It's the path of the mystics. It's the path of most spiritual seekers. It is that path of knowing that we are loved unconditionally by this benevolent, universal power, presence, life force, whatever you want to call it. It is knowing that it is operating in our lives all the time. So becoming silent is one of the ways that we can do that. Other ways are some of the other spiritual practices we have. Demonstrating more compassion, more empathy, kindness towards others, living in a state of joy, forgiving easily, being grateful for those things that come into our lives, even the mundane and the simple things. In all things, be grateful. These will actually begin to bring more of a deeper experience of grace into our lives. I was reading earlier today, earlier this week, and I was reading. It wasn't written down anywhere, but as I was reading, I remembered this bumper sticker that I used to see all over the place. That was my favorite bumper sticker of all times. Practice random acts of kindness and senseless acts of beauty. And so it prompted me to look up where that came from. And so in 1982, a woman named Ann Herbert was sitting in a cafe in Sausalito, California. And she was in a state of turmoil in her life. Things were not going well in her life. And as she's sitting there at this cafe, she hears these words in her consciousness as she's sitting there in the quiet by herself. And so she grabs a pencil and writes it on the placemat in front of her. Random acts of kindness and senseless acts of beauty. In 1983, she wrote a book by that title, which recounted numerous incidents of people practicing kindness or senseless acts of beauty. And what she said afterwards with that, it was that for her, this was the most grace-filled experience of her life. To simply take that moment and focus, take that time that it took her to write that book and focus on all of these beautiful acts of kindness and ways that people demonstrated their love for the world by creating senseless acts of beauty. I had a friend one day, probably about 15 years ago, complaining because of all of the stuff they're putting around the freeways. She said, why are they spending all that money on putting artwork around the freeways and making the walls pretty? And in my head, I heard Joel Goldsmith saying something that he'd said in many of the lectures that I've listened to of his. He says, if you have 2 coppers, 2 coins, in other words, spend one on bread and the other one on hyacinths for the soul. And so when she was telling me this, all I could hear in my head was hyacinths for the soul. Bringing beauty into our lives in ways that are unexplainable, undefendable even, where we don't have to have any reason for it other than the joy of having something beautiful in our lives. I've just recently purchased a new home, and so I've been having a wonderful time just finding beautiful ways to put things in my home. And I was in Trader Joe's on Thursday, and I love their orchids, and they had this most amazing orchid. So I picked up the orchid and I put it in my cart. And as I'm shopping around there, I was stopped by almost every person in that store, like, oh my God, that is so beautiful. And I'm like, yeah, I got the last one. Sorry, It's like, but it was just this gorgeous orchid that's all in these fall colors and it's just really full and everything. It's beautiful, but it's like finding these ways of bringing beauty into our lives that we don't have to defend the reason for it. It's just because it's beautiful, and it's going to bring a smile to us, and it's going to make us feel something beyond what we're feeling in the mundane, ordinary world that we're in. Finding ways to bring beauty into our lives, whatever way that is that works for us as we're going through our days. So find those things that make us feel like we're connected to something deeper than ourselves. When we are enjoying something in that present moment, we are making ourselves available for the limitless possibilities of spirit. When we are actually fully present in the enjoyment of what is, in those things of beauty, in those acts of kindness, when we are fully experiencing that, then there is an opening within us for everything that we could possibly need to happen in our lives. It is a way of allowing ourselves to be fully present with what is and experiencing it to the fullest point possible. We can do this through practices like mindfulness. Mindfulness, the biggest component of mindfulness is being fully present and fully aware in the moment. Being absolutely available to what is here for us right now. Oftentimes we spend time in the future worrying about what's going to happen, or we spend time in the past with anger and regret and things like that have happened. But when we stay in that very present moment, as I talked about last month, that razor's edge of this particular moment in time, and keep ourselves fully present here, that's where possibility exists. There's not much possibility happening in the past. It's already done, and the future hasn't yet arrived. But if we stay in this present moment, everything is possible for us. That allows us to begin to experience the awe and the wonder and the grace that is available to us through our connection with Spirit, through this benevolent, unjudging, unconditional love that is always out there and always making itself available to us. We live in awe and wonder, and we fully experience the magic that is happening right here and right now in us. And so ways that we can begin to do this is to not resist the challenges, but to embrace them as opportunities to experience more grace. Embrace the challenging things in our lives as what's here for me to know? What is here for me to experience? I think so many times we are so resistant to any kind of problems because we're just so worried about how bad it's going to get. But if we can be fully present in it, we can watch it ease and dissipate through that grace that is flooding into us. We begin to cherish all of those little moments of awe and wonder and joy, being fully present with what we're experiencing right now, and not letting our minds be consumed by the past or the future. When we do this, we remain open to that transformative power and that presence of grace that is always operating through us right here and right now. And so it is our way of being available for all that Spirit has to offer us and being grateful for when that happens. November is traditionally a month of gratitude. And so gratitude is one of those practices that will help us stay in the present moment. It helps us experience the wonder and the awe of things like that. And there are ways that we can bring more gratitude in our lives when we're stuck, when we're in that challenging situation, like, we're experiencing something we don't want to experience, and we think, well, what do I have to be grateful for here? But if we can do something that shifts that mindset around to there are things to be grateful for. One of the things I like to do, being a former public school teacher, is I take the alphabet and I say, okay, letter A. What am I grateful for that begins with the letter A? I had a delicious apple for breakfast this morning. I am grateful for apples. How about the letter B? Find something that we're grateful for in B. Letter C, letter D. And just go through the alphabet, finding those things. You get to some of them like X. Well, I am grateful that we have X-rays out there because, there are times when we need that. And, as we go through things, we may have a challenge on some of those words. But, it's also an opportunity for us to be creative and fun with it and to let it experience a little more levity in the situation. So that's a great way to begin to practice it. When you're stuck in something, find a way to shift that awareness out of the stuck situation that you're feeling and find a way to be grateful for things that are going on in our lives. One of the easiest ways is to 3 things I'm grateful for in the morning, 3 things I'm grateful for at the end of the day. So right now, let's just close our eyes. And I want you to think of 3 things that you are grateful for right now. It can be the most simple things, like I am really grateful for warm sweaters on this cool morning. Think of 3 things right now that you are grateful for. Would anybody like to share one of the things they're grateful for? My dog. Your dog? Yeah.
Family and friends.
Family and friends.
Breath.
What's that?
Breath.
Breath, absolutely.
A home.
A home.
Ideas flowing through my head.
Ideas flowing through your head. Simple things. Yes?
Colonoscopies.
Colonoscopies. Let's make sure that plumbing is working really well there. So, yes. I just had my first one. Thank you very much. There we go. It's so simple to just shift our feeling of challenges in the moment to find those things that we're grateful for. The other practice that is so powerful is forgiveness. Finding ways to forgive. We can always find something to forgive, even if it's something for myself. I forgive myself because I had to leave my dog this morning. I forgive myself for going 5 miles over the speed limit as I was driving in here. I forgive myself for thinking those not so nice thoughts about the person in front of me on the car. Whatever that thing is. Forgive ourselves for that and let it go. By actually verbalizing that, it is a way that we begin to shift that energy again. Because as long as it's there and we haven't forgiven it, it's a stuck energy in us. And so if we speak it out, let it go, it's a wonderful opportunity. So close your eyes. What are 3 things that you can forgive right now, either for yourself or someone else? Does anybody have a forgiveness they want to shout out? These sometimes are a little more personal, and you certainly wouldn't want to say anything about anybody else, but is there anything that's out there? Forgiving myself for the food choices I make. Forgiving myself, I don't know. Oftentimes it's like, I shouldn't have been thinking so harshly about somebody else. I could be a little more generous there. Yeah. Yes?
I forgive myself for my total inability to ever close a cupboard door or push in a drawer.
There you go. Absolutely, yeah. Just, find those ways to shift energy allows us to be a space where grace can flow in. When we shift that energy around inside of us and don't let it remain stagnant, then we open up a space for possibility. As I said, grace is that opening for the infinite benevolence of Spirit to flow through. And just remember, Spirit is benevolent equally to everyone. There is no judgment. It doesn't care. It is all about experiencing life through you and experiencing life in a way that uplifts the consciousness of the world. Let's take this into prayer. I invite our spiritual practitioners to stand and surround us, holding us in the consciousness of love and peace and joy and benevolence. And so if you would, just let your eyes relax and your shoulders drop and take in that deep breath. Knowing that right here and right now is that unconditional presence of grace. It has always been there. It will always be there. There is absolutely nothing that limits it or withholds it from our experience. For that grace is that givingness of life, the outpouring of Spirit as unconditional love, as perfect peace, as wisdom and clarity and infinite, limitless possibility. I know that this is the very nature of the divine, to pour itself forth into expression perfectly and uniquely in each one of our lives. And I know that we, each one of us individually, is aligned with that perfection, with that divine grace that is moving itself into expression in our lives at all times. And I know that there are things that we can do to begin to experience this in a more profound way. Opening ourselves and making ourselves available for that impressive Spirit, for that well of grace to flow into our experience, to show up in the mundane steps that we take as we traverse our day, to show up as that quantum leap when it's most needed in our lives. And I know that each one of us is forever changed by the experience of grace unfolding itself in perfection, in harmony, and in love in each one of our lives. And how grateful I am to know this, how grateful I am to see it happening, how grateful I am to feel it in my own life and the life of this center. Everyone that we serve, everyone that we come in contact with, knowing that the perfection of the divine is fully operating as that benevolent grace. So I release this word into the law, knowing it is complete. I let it go and I let it be. And together we say, and so it is.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Beautiful, thank you. All right, so now is that time when we share our tithes and offerings. So we have lots of ways that you could give. We have online donations, we have Zelle, we have text to give, and we gratefully receive your cash and check donations here this morning. So would you, as you prepare your donation, if you're giving electronically in some form, just put your hands over your heart. If not, hold your offering over your heart. And just feel into that. And if you would, repeat after me. This gift I give, goes forth from me, does amazing and miraculous things, and returns to me in kind, pressed down and overflowing. And so it is. Got a song? All right.
With all my heart, my God, I give to you. With all my soul, my God, I live as you. With all my mind, my
Thank you. Great song. All right, just a few announcements before we finish up here today. Tonight is the third Interfaith Forum. Tonight they're talking about life and death. And it's coming from 6 different points of view. We have paganism, Hinduism, Judaism, Episcopalian, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the Baha'i faith, speaking on the topic of life and death. It's at 7 o'clock at the LDS Church on West Charleston over here, 3400 West Charleston. I think it's like near the water district right over there. So hope to see you there tonight. It'll be a fascinating topic of life and death. This Tuesday is our First Tuesday Supper Club, and we are going to an Ethiopian restaurant. So if you haven't ever experienced that before, where you can still RSVP. Kelly is in the back at the table by the door there. She'll be happy to accept your RSVPs, and we'll get you on the list for going. It's at 6 o'clock at Lucy's Ethiopian Restaurant on West Flamingo. Please try to arrive between 5:45 and 6 o'clock so that we can get everybody seated at once. That's usually the thing. I understand that it's one of those things where we eat with our fingers, so I'm really excited about this. I think it'll be really I haven't had Ethiopian food before, so that's one of the things I love about the Supper Club, is we get to try different restaurants in different parts of town. So if you're at all interested in that, please see Kelly in the back, or those of you that are joining us online, you can go ahead to our website and just RSVP for the dinner, for the Supper Club. Please do it before tomorrow so that we can get the accurate count to the restaurant for dinner on Tuesday night. We have some upcoming classes that I want to kind of put out there, plant the seed for you maybe to begin to think about that. These will all be in-person classes at the new center. Yay! Kelly Marshall has been undergoing a study of the wonderful book by Julia Cameron called The Artist's Way. And so she's going to create a series of, was it 14 classes, Kelly? Yes. 14 classes on Sunday afternoons, all about The Artist's Way. I think they're 90 minutes to 2-hour classes. So if you're interested in that, The Artist's Way is all about developing creativity. It's not just about art. It's all about music and writing and all the different ways that we can begin to engage in a more active flow, bringing more of that grace into our lives in an artistic expression. So if you're interested in that. We also have another class starting in January with Kelly Capsar, who is a certified grief facilitator, and she's going to be doing a 6-week class on grief on Monday afternoon, evening time. So we'll look for that information. And I'll be starting a new class that I've just been creating on the basics of science of mind. It'll be a 4-week class, kind of an introduction class to get you kind of a quick start, kickoff into our philosophy and so forth, and practices and things that we do here at the Science of Mind. I haven't got the date yet on that, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be on a Tuesday evening for that. So we're going to have lots of different things happening at our center. I was there on Friday. The blinds are being made right now. The furniture is being put together and shipped to us for the offices, and I'm charged with buying a refrigerator this week. So we'll get everything going and start to get this happening. The Labyrinth left Pennsylvania on Friday. It's in transit. And so I'm anticipating it being installed the week of the 13th through the 17th, sometime around then. So we will have our beautiful Labyrinth to use as our spiritual practice. So we're so excited about everything that's happening here and everything that is yet to be known to us that's going to be happening. So we're really excited about that. All right, let's close it out with our benediction. If you would stand. And you can join hands if you'd like. If you don't want to, that's absolutely perfectly fine too. And if sitting is better for you, just stay in your seat. That's always good too. So, if you would repeat after me, something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called grace.
It is this thing called grace.
Grace is in my mind.
Grace is in my mind.
Grace is in my life.
Grace is in my life.
Grace is in all that I do.
Grace is in all that I do.
I am it. I share it.
I share it.
And I'm becoming more of it.
And I'm
Each and every day. Thank you, Grace. I'm going to wait for your cue.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Have a great week, everybody. Please help us set the room.